There was not a need to understand why I was there. It was just a recognition that the knowing that this is what I always am. It was the most beautiful, loving feeling I can ever imagine. I liken it to being in the mother's womb. Just that peaceful, everything is taken care of. I felt protected, and even though there was no physical body, there was this kind of nurtured embracement, if you will, in all of it. And yet there was no body. There was no body. Nothing. I would have stayed there, but there was this knowing that there was more to do. And yet there's no doer. So it's really, again, it's hard to put into these human words and terms that equate. I experienced what I call my soul family. I was taken to this room that was very elegant, and it was all stone. Big stone table, big stone chairs, not of anything we have here to build out of. I liken it to a marble. I remember I had no hands, but putting my feeling to this, it just felt very powerful, and there was this knowing that this room held a lot of information. I don't know if it was a place of my Akashic records or what you want to refer to it as, but that's what I feel it was. And I was shown my soul map on this table, and not in paper like we would think of. It was dimensional. You could look into it, and you could become part of it just by experiencing it. And that's what happened. I had a review of my entire life here. And it was not a review for anyone but me. There was nothing to fix. There was nothing to go, you should have done it this way. There was no, go back and fix that. It's not what I had ever heard of in this review. It was very much just look and see what you've done. And it was kind of a blessed, look at all these amazing experiences you had. Even the ones that we would label bad or wrong were just exciting. To my soul family, look at how you did that. That was so amazing. It was like, good on you, you know. Even the stuff that even the stuff that we would call bad, to them, it was experience, and it was what was intended. So all of these sufferings that I had carried in my mind for 38 years that were victim were celebrated here. Each and every one of them, even the molestation that happened with my grandfather at age 3 was a celebration. It was a experience that I had asked for, and I know a lot of people are resisting that, but it was an agreement that we had together for experience, and that's the only reason.
And that experience helps us to grow and helps other realms and beings who are learning what it means to be human through us, helping us to be more considerate, non-judgmental, forgiving, understanding, unconditional loving, God almost experiencing everything through us.
Well, we are God, and so how can we know an individual aspect of ourselves if we're all of it? This is what I explained, that's incarnation. We are all of this, and how yet can I know Kelly in all of it? So I come into this illusion of this individual self so that I can experience, and part of that is knowing what we call bad or hateful or ugly. It's part of this duality. So this soul map was something that was formulated by all the souls that I have experience with. Even this conversation with you, and even all the people who watch this have an agreement to do so. It's not a coincidence, even if they're just flipping through YouTube and stumble on this and think, what a random thing. There's nothing random.
Like they're meant to find us. They're meant to find certain videos and certain people at just the right time. But then that makes me wonder about when people hear this, that everything is perfect and meant to be, and destiny, if you will, then there is the qualm from people, where is free will? If I'm just subject to experience all these things, where's my choice? Because people feel like, oh no, we have a choice. And then in the Matrix, remember when the Oracle says, you don't have to make a choice. The choice has already been made. What you need to do is understand why you made that choice. Absolutely. Do you feel that coincides with, because so many people get really upset when they hear this because they want to feel like they have some control in their life. And so many people are just trying to manage plan, structure, routine, and here comes life going, if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans, kind of a thing. And whenever you can try to make plans, but life will make other plans for you because it already has a certain idea.
Absolutely. Well, I know people have gotten angry in some of the comments of my YouTube videos when they hear about no free will. I was very much shown that there is no free will, and we're aware of that when we incarnate. This is all mapped. Every single bit of it. I tell people you'll be driving down the road and you'll have your victim story playing in your mind, and some homeless person passes you and all of a sudden empathy kicks in, or you see someone in a wheelchair and they have no legs and you're sitting there feeling victimized because you had a bad meeting at work. We mapped every bit of this. The belief that there is some choice in this is the mind. It's the ego. It's this place of duality that wants to see that there is a choice, that I had a choice between vanilla and chocolate. The scientists are finally catching up with spirituality in that they're doing studies on the brain, and they're realizing that the brain knows well before the human body reacts that I was going to pick chocolate ice cream, right? This has been mapped. This is not a place where we're choosing, and yet even being mad about that is mapped into this. Even that moment where you have that realization, where you have that aha moment of being pissed off that this is mapped out, even that's mapped into your process.
Scripted
being
reality.
Mad is okay.
Scripted reality. Okay. People who are feeling compelled or forced to do things that are harmful, they're scripted to play that character as a villain, but that's not who they really are on a soul level.
Exactly. My grandfather who molested me is one of my advocates in my soul family. He would never have done something that seemed inappropriate or wrong. We label that. We label it. This is just a car. This is just a vehicle. And so this thought of molestation, and gosh, this makes people angry, and I'm sorry, but yet that anger is meant to happen now. It's meant to trigger something in you to question what you've believed and all of this conditioning. It's meant to make you mad. It's meant to make you look at life differently. It's meant to spur you in this moment. So if this anger is coming and you're mad at me for sharing it, that I'm okay with that. I have an agreement with you for that.
Particularly with these things that were done to you when you were younger, when all of us were younger, our challenges and tribulations in life. It was done to us. I mean, we don't have to let it destroy us. We don't have to let it make us bitter. It is that opportunity to use it to. I really feel that life is using all these things to help us shape and mold us into the people we need to be to do what we came here to do. But I just, for knowing, it's very frustrating when you know something that is going to happen and you have to go through it anyway and try to explain it to people. I'm like, but I don't have a choice. And people talk to me about the work that I do and traveling and speaking, and they see that I'm clearly nervous all the time and verbal Picasso, always so dyslexic and all over the place. And I don't have a choice. There's nothing else I could possibly do. No 9-to-5 jobs. Everything that I thought I was supposed to be and do is just, it was all preparation again.
Absolutely.
And I just have to surrender and go with the flow. And whenever I surrender and go with the flow, life just works in ways beyond your imagination. And I always challenge people to just, let go. Just let go and let life show you.
Yeah, I mean, that was the beautiful next thing that happened in my story was the encounter with the angels, and the message that they gave to me to take back was so simple. We make this so complex. We as human beings complicate everything. The reality is we're here. This is mapped. Everything that's happening is happening for a purpose. It's always unfolding for our higher good. Our only role here is to breathe and not resist. That's it.
To forgive is part of that too, because what your grandfather did to you, at first you can feel pain and anger and all these things, but at the same time you can also think, what must have happened to him in order to bring him to this point to do something like this? How much pain must have he been in? And I always tell people this who have experienced molestation and things like that, and it gives them a new perspective because suddenly they put themselves in their shoes and they feel empathy. And then the healing and the non-resistance happens, and it's really incredible.
It is incredible, and I think the thing that most people link to in the way that you and I share, Jess, is that we're so raw with what we share. You and I are a lot alike in that way. We will just put whatever out there, and people will write to us and they'll go, how could you tell that story? I mean, I couldn't fathom telling that. And because I'm not attached to it anymore. It's not who I am. It's part of this hologram, and to me, it never even happened. So even though I can experience it, I can touch it, taste it, remember it like it was yesterday, I know that it's not real.
For me, I know that one day it's all going to come out. Everything. You cannot hide. And so I figure I'd be the one to reveal everything and tell everything about myself first, kind of a thing. Get it all, whatever, even any kind of dirt on me. I'll be the first one to say, yeah, I'm not very good with this here, or whatever, kind of a thing. Just to be that honest. I kind of use my videos as a confession booth. Even Project Camelot, that's what I would describe that interview as, my confession booth to the world. But it was a great emotional vomit and great opportunity for people to relate.
Absolutely.
Because when you share raw, people are able to connect with you in a way where they can also feel compelled to share in their own way as well. Because I do feel, for me, what we come here to do is to do what brings us the most excitement, and also to be ourselves 100%.
Absolutely. And in sharing, you and I just talked about this before this interview, every person that sits before us is an aspect of us. Mm-hmm. So there's no coincidence that the client that walks in the room today shares something that I totally feel within myself, because I am always and ever healing something in me. I always link back to the Ho'oponopono prayer, which is just always clearing something in me. It's never outside of me. So the belief that somebody there to be angry at, or to protect, or heal. Ooh, we created an energy that locked it up, huh?
Yeah, we did. I think
I was wondering when that was going to happen.
It's all right. I think I got it. Okay, continue. Sorry, just to backtrack just a tiny bit.
So I always refer back to the Ho'oponopono prayer, which is just basically saying that there's no one out there that I need to heal. Mm-hmm. Even though there's a client or an apparent story of a client sitting in front of me who may be sharing something, I'm constantly healing that within me. I'm saying, I'm sorry that I'm seeing you sick. I'm sorry that I'm seeing you unwell. I'm sorry that I'm seeing you in a story, because it's me that needs to heal. Mm-hmm. That person is whole and complete, just as any other soul.
That's right.
It's my story that's running about them. It's my projection onto them that I'm seeing.
And that understanding, that revelation is what makes them heal, because you're healing too at that moment. So if somebody contacts me and asks for healing and they're in another country, I'll just find that part within my body that is their similar aura of a cell, say, for example, because I know that all the cells in my body is a mirror of the planet people, and it has a particular aura of each person on the planet. So if I tap in on that and I heal that, then they get healed. And it's just the beautiful kind of, you can choose to either just only help yourself, but if you do that, you're going to help others, right? And if you focus on just helping others, you're helping yourself. So it's win-win either way. But constantly knowing that we are so affected by what is happening in this world, even if we're not aware of it subconsciously, it always finds a way to come back to us and create some kind of some discomfort until you have to do something. You feel that compelled to and guided.
Yeah, and they're always our mirror.
That's
always
right.
Our mirror showing our projection, and so. It's this self-love that we always come back to. It's loving of the self, which is in fact healing all of those that appear to be having a story outside of us.
Particularly the ones we don't get along with. They are the ones, they're like some people that we all have in our life are like, no, I'm nothing like them. How could you say they're a mirror reflection of ourselves, of what we do not want to see nor admit.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
Particularly because me and you are both mystics, and we do consultations and spiritual mentoring and readings for people. It's we sometimes have to do it for each other because we can't do it for ourselves.
Right.
So when I some people, when I talk to them about that, they're like, well, why would you need something like that? Or Kelly, why would you need something like that? And it's really just, we are all cars, and we all have our blind spots, and we all depend on mirrors or each other to show us things around us that we can't yet see. Right?
Yes.